People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right, guys. This week I am super excited. I booked this guest, and I'm like, man, this guy is on the Mount Rushmore of magicians for me. I even made an intro for this guy, which I rarely do. This guy was the first lecture I ever saw, and it shaped my magic career. Because I've seen lectures where the guys have just done humdrum magic tricks and humdrum card tricks, and it didn't really matter. This guy, you could see the passion. You could see his love of the art. And anything anybody yelled out for him to do, he just did it. I thought you knew everything. I thought he knew everything. Natalie and I spent a week studying with this guy. I got a little bit of money, and I'm like, man, if I'm going to study with a legend, ask him how much it costs. I got to figure it out. Yeah. And we did. We spent a week with this guy. I love this guy. How much I love this guy when this is the intro. So how much I love this guy. I had a magician friend of mine that named his dog Blackstone after a famous magician. Natalie and I got married, and we got a boxer. I named him Rocco because I love Rocco Silano, and this boxer was our first baby. Yeah. We love Rocco, and we love you, Rocco. Everybody, It's Rocco Silano. What's up, buddy? How are you?
That's so funny, so flattering.
Dude, I got more.
Man, that's a very
living
beautiful
legend. He's an amazing talent.
Intro. I don't know how I can feel those shoes. That's so kind to you.
Hey. We love you, man. This has been a long time. I got a Rocco shrine in my magic room. I got roses that are all dried out, Rocco. And I got butterflies from 2009 from you. Stickers.
Really?
Vodka that magically appeared. Lipstick.
Is he telling me the truth?
Yes. It's all right here.
Yes, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this. That's so funny, man. Well, I appreciate it. How old are you now, Wes?
I am 48 years old.
Hello.
So
when you met me, you were how old?
28.
So how old are you when we met?
28 years old. 28.
28. I got you. So you're a young kid. Well, I'm glad I left such a good impression on you because, magic is a lifestyle. And you were like a sponge. You were very eager, very enthusiastic. And I see you've made a very good career of yourself. And now this podcast you're doing, my friend was telling me about it, that he listens to you all the time. So how long you been doing this?
We started in 2020 after I won Fool Us. And it was during the pandemic. We had free time. So I started the podcast July 2020.
All right, great, man. Well, what questions do you have for me? I've never spoken for more than an hour, so let's see where it takes us. I appreciate the enthusiasm because of magic. That's what obviously brought us together. We have something in common, and let's go share this with the world. Peace through magic. That's my new motto. All right, go ahead.
So where I start all of these, Rocco, is I want to know about young Rocco. I want to know about the guy before the man that I met. I want to know about young Rocco. What was young Rocco like?
Oh, well, my parents were born in Italy. I was conceived in Venice, Italy. Then my parents were here. My mother was pregnant on a boat, and I was born in Patterson, New Jersey. And I always wanted to be a spy, to work for the Secret Service. I played the guitar. I wanted to be a baseball player. And then at 19 years old, I saw somebody do Slidini's magic. And I said, I have got to do magic. I want to know more about magic, what's going on. So that's what happened. I didn't really find myself till I was 19 years old. Before then, high school, hanging out in gangs, bringing weapons to school, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And then God said, you're going to be a magician. What's a magician? I don't know. But that's how it started. 19 years old, I was going to college. Working in the criminal justice department. I wanted to become a spy to work for the Secret Service. So I was working at a department store called Harmony Hut. I was the undercover security guard catching kids when they were stealing cassette tapes. one of my workers there, which also was a security guard, was a student of a guy named Slidini. I didn't know nothing about magic. And then every once in a while, he would show me something. This is like a June of 77. And he took a quarter and made it disappear, gone. His fingers were empty, and pulled it out of my ear. He did it over and over again. Wherever my mind was at, I could not figure it out. Kids could figure it out. Dogs could figure it out. I couldn't figure out the French drop. I was so enamored by magic. So this guy who I was working with was doing close-up magic at a restaurant called the Ground Round. So I took my girlfriend, 19 years old. We went to see him perform, and he did all Slidini's magic. Taught him to store cigarettes, cigarette production, paper balls in a box, the silk knots, and this and that. I said, wow, that's amazing. When he was done, my car was broke. I had a Fiat X19. The muffler was broke. I said to him, can you come outside and use some of your divine supernatural wonders and fix my car? He laughed at me because I literally believed, listen to me, at 19 years old, we're all a little naive. I literally believed he had the powers to come outside and fix my car after seeing what he did. He tied two handkerchiefs, two knots together. He tied them as tight as he could. I tied them, he tied them. He turned them over and the knots were gone. I said, this guy can do anything. And he laughed at me. So then August comes around, August 16th, Elvis Presley dies. He dies, I hear in the bathroom reading the Bible. So I said, what did the king of rock and roll know that I didn't know? So I started reading the Bible. And I read about Jesus 2,000 years ago, his first miracle. He did 77 miracles in the New Testament before he ascended into heaven. And one of them was he turned water into wine. His first miracle, took water, go like this, and with divine supernatural wonders, he turned water into wine. I said, who is this Jesus? If it was good enough for Elvis to follow this guy, I'm going to follow him too. Miracle number 17. There was thousands of people outside, 5,000 in the family, and they were hungry. And Jesus said to one of the people there, Andrew, we need to feed these people. So a little boy had 5 little loaves of bread and 2 fish. First, he gave thanks for the little he had. Then he blessed it, and with divine supernatural wonders, the bread and the fish were multiplying and was feeding all these people. And then we'll go to the Old Testament when Isaiah, God told, go find this widow and she's going to make a meal for you. So he goes over there and she's broke. And what happened was she had a jar of oil, and God made that jar of oil. She said, I can only make enough meal for one meal. I have enough oil for one meal, then me and my son are going to die. And divine supernatural wonders, that jar of oil kept filling up with oil and never ended. This is the miracle of the oil with the widow. And this is where we get the lotto bowl from. And she was taking the oil, making so much, she was selling it to the villagers. That's how she was supporting herself. And then he walked on water. I said, how do you walk on water? So I was so fascinated with magic, I talked my friend to giving me 10 lessons for $100. At his house, I would go once a week, and he gave me 10 lessons. He taught me the basics of Slidini magic, and he told me there was a magic shop in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. I went to visit it, and there was a guy there named Nick Sava. If I don't mention his name, he's going to be very aggravated, Wes. So can you repeat that name with me?
Nick Sava.
Nick Sava, right. Because I never mentioned him in articles and books, and he always says, why don't you ever say my name? Okay, I will. We were 19 years old. He was the demonstrator there, and we became friends. He was showing me all these tricks. This is when the incredible edible egg, that commercial was on TV, where you would take the egg and you would do these sleight of hand moves. He was showing me that. Steve Dushek's, the Rising Wonder Bar, Sponge Balls, Hot Rod, What's Next, Thumb Tip. And he was showing me all these tricks. Then they were having magic lectures there. And I went to every magic lecture. Do you want to know who the lectures I saw when I was 19 years old?
Go for it.
See if you recognize these names. Lou Lancaster.
Yes.
You recognize the name?
Yes.
Okay. He passed away. Emerson and West.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
George Schindler. He's still alive. He's great. George Schindler. Danny Tonk. I said Lou Lancaster, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Bill Wish. So Bill Wish, I found out was a student of Slidini, so I took a magic lesson with him, but I already knew all the magic because I took lessons from the other guy. And then he introduced me to Slidini, and then I started studying close-up magic with Slidini. And I said, this is great. I remember going to Slidini, and he wants me to perform for him. So I was doing the coins through the table, the way me by my friend John Lusage, which is now in FBI security work. And I did it for him, and he looks at me, he says, you do that for people? No good. I said, what? I'm fooling everybody. Everybody's fooling them. And he said to me, magic's got to come from the soul. I didn't know what that meant at 19 years old. Just teach me a couple of tricks. I could go out and meet girls at 19 years old. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to make a career out of it. Just wanted to be the life of the party. And he said, magic's got to come from the soul. I didn't know what that meant there at 19 years old. But now, maybe some almost 50 years later, we understand what that means, right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
It means anyone can fill a stage with feathered flowers. How do you fill a stage with a single rose? It's not the effect that makes the star, but rather the star that makes the effect. How do you elevate magic from sideshow trickery to art? And that's what Slidini was showing me when I saw him perform with his hands moving. It was ballet, it was art. And then I said, this is wonderful, but you're always sitting down. And then a couple months later, whenever it was, I saw Lance Burton on the Johnny Carson show. I said, uh-oh, it's time to do stage magic. I want to be on stage. I don't want to sit down doing magic. Let's get on stage. So Lance Burton was a big influence for a lot of magicians. He's one of my favorites. So that's how I got started in magic, Wes.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You're getting real close to the screen. I'm only seeing half your head. You're getting real close to the screen when you're talking to me. There you go. I want to see you, buddy. I want to see you. So, Slidini, okay. Bill Wish. What did Bill Wish do for a living? Was he a full-time magician?
I think he was a drummer at some time. I don't know much of what he did. I think he based more of his stuff on lecturing. I think he more lectured on Slidini magic. He's a very, very good magician. Have you ever seen him?
Of course, yes. What about Slidini?
Yeah.
Did Slidini only do magic?
Yeah, he only did magic. That's right. When I first time I met him, I'd come to the house and he'd be all dressed up with a tie and a jacket. And I started talking to him and he said to me, I never met anyone who was crazy about magic as you. I'm going to take you on as my student. So we started speaking in Italian, in English, and it took about 12 to 15 classes with him to understand the whole idea of timing and misdirection. And the same principles that I use with my sleeves are the same timing and pauses and rests that Slidini did with his lap. The way he would steal off his lap with the offbeat, I've used those same principles with sleeving. And Slidini was so clever. What he used to do is, when we used to do a class, we'd be facing each other like this. And right behind me over here, over my head, there was a clock. So when the class was over and time was up, usually an hour class went into an hour and a half, he wouldn't tell me, time's up, you got to go, we're finished. He would make me notice it. He would take his glasses like this and he would squint over my head to look at what the clock said. And he would make me want to look at what the clock said. And then I realized, yeah, it's time to go. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Slidini. So we did that about 12 to 15 times. Learned his production of silks, sponge balls, coins through the table, the Slidini Lincoln pins. We did the Slidini scarves and Slidini scarf knots, paper balls in a box. Yep, that's what happened with Slidini.
Wow,
that's where it started.
All right. So when did the Rocky Horror Picture Show Rocco come out?
Yeah, I think 1980. If you saw that, that's on YouTube. Yeah, that was my first magic show. Before I did the roses, I was 19 years old. That was the first magic show I started to do. 1920, the Rocky Horror Magic Show. I took 10 razor blades, I put them in my mouth, and I had blood coming out all over the place. Right. I had a white face. I had a mouth. I used to open for Twisted Sister with that show. Opened up for a
Wow.
lot of cover bands here in the area. I had my own show at the Brigantine Haunted Castle in Atlantic City. We had the whole theater, whole thing, and nobody would come because kids were scared. People were running out of the theater. Mothers wouldn't want to bring their theater to the show because I kind of died on stage with blood coming out. I had blood in my mouth. I had blood balls underneath my white shirt, squeeze balls. But at the end, when I run my hand down the razor blades, I grab my shirt and I squeeze it, and there's blood all over the place. And then it smears on my face. Go look at it on YouTube. Right. So that was 1980, before I started doing the roses. Right. Then I got a little freaked out with that music, and I used the blood to make a rose bleed. The bleeding rose. Right. That's the one I did the Las Vegas Desert Seminar in 1987. I won the complete conjurer with the bleeding rose routine. Did you ever see that?
Yes. Rocco, I have all of your DVDs. This is pre-YouTube. I saw Rocky Horror. I'm talking about this was 30 years ago. I got
right.
guest tapes of you, man. Yeah. You can see it on YouTube.
Oh,
But I'm a fan, Rocco.
Hey, Wes, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you. No, we need more people in the world like you. Go ahead.
Dude, I love you, man. So the Golden Head Lion Award, is that what you won, the rose, the bleeding rose?
Yeah, it was called The Complete Conjurer in 1986. Yeah, 1986. Siegfried and Roy had a contest with Joe Stevens for The Complete Conjurer. Close up in stage. Everybody competed everywhere from Goshman to this guy, Paul Gertner. Everybody competed. What's the guy with the birds? James Demire, Michael Finney. It was an amazing competition. And I won close up in stage, The Complete Conjurer. And that's what got me traveling all over the world. The first tour was Germany, 1 month in Germany after The Complete Conjurer in 1986. Right. That's where I did the roses. I practiced a lot, Wes. I don't know where my 20s went. My whole 20s went up. It was just practicing.
We saw your studio back in 2009, man. I mean, everything was a performance table, like with props to just work. And if I'm in this room, here's performance stuff. That, we got to see Penn and Teller do a rehearsal, and we were taken back by everything had to be in a precise thing. The screen had to come down 6 inches above Penn's head, and it had to be forward.
Wow.
Here, and all of that staging and everything. And the only other person I've seen work like that is you. Mm-hmm. Because you have practicing tables in every room in your studio and your house. Your garage had just props everywhere.
Right. Listen, do you want to see one of what happened? I lost you.
We'll do that for the podcast.
I can't see you no more.
Just hit your camera again. It'll be all right. We'll save the tour for the podcast extra.
You've got it.
We'll do that for the extra.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to show you what my main table looks like. All right.
Well, we'll see it. We'll see it.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So
when you're bleeding all over yourself in the Rocky Horror
Any
Show,
other
how many
questions?
times did you do that show a day?
Yeah, like 2 shows a night. And at nighttime was good. People would pass out. They would throw up. They would get scared. We had to have a disclaimer that pregnant women couldn't come to the show. Kids were crying. And then we had to close it because people said this is too gross. It was too ahead of its time. They were watching someone bleed. Because I tried to create live on stage what Hollywood did in films. And I had stage blood in my mouth. The razor blades, I dipped them in blood before I stole them. So as they're coming out, you're seeing the blood come out, dripping out of my mouth. Then all 10 blades are there. And then I start running my hand down the blades. And the music I used was very scary, too. It was white noise. So there's sound in here that you don't hear, but they're increasing your respiratory system. They're making you nervous and anxious. And it's all like beats of drums. And it was very satanic. It was very dark. I ran away from that as fast as possible. Then I saw a movie called The Thornbirds, where Richard Chamberlain said there's a bird, and he only sings once when he dies. And then with Rachel War, she kept crying throughout time through the film. It's a love story. And then I said, let me change the blood that I use to create horror, and let me put it inside of a rose and do a bleeding rose where a rose dies and it cries and then comes back to life. And that's when I started doing the production of roses and cigarettes. You can't do cigarettes anymore. Cigarette productions.
Wow. Well, I wrote down.
That's our purpose, Wes. You know.
Go ahead.
No, I said we found our purpose. Me and you have the same purpose. Mark Twain says the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a purpose. And magic as an art form, which we're prestidigitators, we don't do black magic. It's an art. This is our purpose in life, is to perform magic for people, to give them that feeling of wonder. And Einstein says there's two ways to live your life. One is if miracles don't exist, and the other as if every day is a miracle. And we find that wonderment through magic. For me, I find magic everywhere I go. You can see that. You pick something up and you see what's the litany. What would this object turn into to become magical? What were you saying, Wes?
Well, I was just saying, I tell people that all the time. I get to do this for a living. It's not something I take for granted. I could be, a factory worker. I could be building houses. I could be doing something else, manual labor. I get to do magic. I'm so blessed and so thankful every day.
It's exactly. To go on life being called a magician is the best way to go on through life. For example, everywhere you go, I can't go get a hamburger somewhere without someone saying, hey, show us a magic trick. And then before you know it, I don't got to pay for the hamburger. Happens all the time.
That's awesome.
It's a lifestyle.
So you have a lot of transitions in your career, though. You have different acts throughout your career. So I wrote down, you had the Slidini. Yeah. You have like a Slidini show in the past. You had like a mafia character where the gun hearing. You had the 007 ladies man act that you did.
Yeah.
The Rocky Horror. Yeah. Your FISM act was everywhere. Like you said, if God could create miracles and feed 5,000 people, why couldn't I produce an ice cream cone in my bare hands? You talked about that with us. And then you did one FISM. For those who don't know, FISM, the Federation International Society of Magicians, held in a foreign country every 4 years. Rocco has won it twice. The only American in the world to win it twice. Rocco, come on. Come on. And your close-up is like a totally different Rocco. Thank God, right. Yeah. So you have different styles of
I see life through magical eyes, right.
Yeah. So let's go over here.
So now I'm doing something different, with the water. Hope you get a chance to come perform one day. Where do you live now, Wes?
Virginia. We're in Virginia. Did you not hear it? Virginia?
Okay, I got you. You're far away. I'm in New Jersey right now. I got a couple of shows in New York. You want to drive up from Virginia and come see a show at the Cutting Room in New York?
I would love to. I would love to, Rocco.
Spend 2 days with your wife.
Well,
that would be awesome.
We'd be more than happy to.
Maybe Natalie would like it.
Oh, I would love it. Are you kidding?
That's great.
Awesome.
Rocco, I had to marry her before
my next day at the Cutting Room.
I had to marry her before.
Wow.
I didn't want her running off.
Congratulations.
You're funny.
Good looking dude, man. All right, so you're also, and all of this going on, we talked a little bit beforehand, and you have a new book coming out. Tell everybody about the new book and when you think it'll be released.
Yeah, I'm working with Patrick. Yeah, Patrick said it'll be released. It'll take a year. He's got an editor all lined up, and it's called Simply 12. It's 12 magicians that have known me for 35 to 40 years, how we met, what we've done together, and then what magic trick they remember me doing that they teach. Like Michael Chow remembers me doing the butterflies in New York, and then I couldn't release them in the theaters. I don't remember this. So I went into the lobby and I got a flower vase. I took the flowers out and I produced the butterflies, so they flew in his vase. But he remembers that, so he's going to tell a story. Michael Amar is writing on the Michael Amar coin clip, because I've used it in my lectures all the time. So it's 12 different guys, Michael Chow from Monday Night Magic, that have known me 40 years. They're all contributing in the book. It's called Simply 12, and a little bit of the history of magic. Like, the first recorded magicians in the Bible. Do you know who are the first magicians mentioned in the Bible?
I would say the wise men. They were the Magi.
Well, you go to the Old
They were the
Testament.
Magi.
This is a
In the
religion.
Old Testament, right? They were. Hmm?
This is a religion major. That's what she got her first degree in. So go ahead and tell him.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Janice and Jamboree.
there you go.
Janice and Jamboree.
I don't know who the first one was,
Well,
but I know that you could consider Moses, but he did miracles, and then the Pharaoh's advisors or whatever try to copy everything. But that's an example.
correct. That was Janet. That was Janice and Jamboree. They were Pharaoh's advisors. They were from the Eastern School of Magic, because every pharaoh, every king had an advisor. They used to interpret dreams. They were astrologers to study the stars. They were curiosity seekers. They were the scientists of the time. And every pharaoh, every king, Nebuchadnezzar, they all had these magicians. And Janus and Jamboree, the ones that worked for Pharaoh, because God said to Moses, I want you to go over there and take this stick in your hand, and we're going to prove them that it's me. And I want you to throw it down on the ground. And he threw it down on the ground, and the staff turned into a snake. And then Pharaoh called in his magicians, Janus and Jamboree, and they did exactly the same thing. They threw down their stick, and it turned into a snake. But then what happened? You remember what happened? Moses' snake ate his snakes up. He swallowed the snakes, because at the time there was a snake that, for defense purposes, would stiffen up like a rod, like a stick, in the wild to defend itself. And this was a snake that was very popular in the time then. And then he did 10 other things. And then after the third one, Pharaoh said, okay, we can't keep up with all these plagues you're giving us. This must be from the hand of God. And that was real magic. And the three wise men, yeah, they were also from the Eastern School of Magic. They read from the book of Daniel, that Daniel said there's going to be a star in the galaxies next to here. And that's where there's going to be something very special happening, the King of the Jews. And they took 2 years to follow that star. They were magicians. So I started studying who magicians were. We're special people, Wes. We're the scientists of the time. We're curiosity seekers. We're men of wonder.
I like it.
100%.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So
Right.
Your new book, you got 12 people because of the 12 disciples? Is that what it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 months of the year, not disciples, 12 apostles, 12 months of the year, 12 tribes of Israel. So this is Patrick's idea to name it simply 12, with this 12 concept. And we're turning water into wine. We're going to make pretzels multiply and gum appear. Anything you can find in your hand, we're going to do magic with. Mm-hmm.
Well, Rocco, think about
Wes.
this. Your first encounter,
Right.
your first encounter with magic was that restaurant, and you thought the guy could fix your car. My first lecture was
Yes,
Rocco.
that's right. Called the ground. Where was it?
My first lecture was Rocco, was you, and people would just yell out, "Show me the newspaper tear." You want to see the newspaper tear? No problem. And you tore a newspaper up and restored it, Rocco. And then they said, "Okay, who that silk trick?" And you tied silks together and restored them. I thought anything anybody yelled out, you could just do, and you were passionate about it, and you were full of information. I was so confident you could do anything. You could walk on water that night. You could do anything, Rocco. It was awesome.
That's so funny, Wes. Well, we're going to have to do that as a challenge next time. I'll just stand up, you name a trick, and I'll get up and we'll do it. Everything's right behind me. A lot of stuff.
There you
go. A lot of stuff. Yeah, Wes.
All right,
yeah, that's what it is. When I go ahead.
No, you go. Go.
Well, to be a magician, just because someone gives you medicine, that doesn't make them a doctor. Just because someone gives you legal advice, that doesn't make them a lawyer. Just because someone does a trick, that doesn't make them a magician. To be a magician, you have to really put your heart and soul into it. You have to know who came before you. You have to know the history. You have to know the consequences, the side effects, and you should know a little about everything. And then when you find out what you're good at, then you stick to that program. That's the problem with a lot of magicians. They haven't found themselves. They don't know who they are on stage. Once you know who you want to be, and remember, Ty says, it's the space between the notes that makes the music. Because if you had one continual note, it'd just be noise. So just to do a trick from beginning to end, that could be boring. I remember Lance told me to go read a book called Our Magic. It talks about high art, normal art, and false art. False art is to see something and to do it exactly the way you see it from beginning to end. We see a lot of that. There's no stretch of imagination. Then there's normal art. That's where you see something and you do it, but you change it enough to fit your own personality. Then it talks about high art, where it's just something completely original from nowhere. And if we use our imagination and just think about it all day long, before you know it, ideas start coming at you. Like Thomas Edison said, ideas come from outer space. So once we are tuned in into that frequency, everything you see, you try to see how would that work with my app? Crayons, color, green, grass. Oh, what if I took some grass and produced a green crayon out of it? There's a certain litany with the color green. Or if you take a peanut, you could turn it into two things. Turn it into peanut butter, messy, or you take that peanut and magically turn it into a Snickers bar. So there's a certain litany of every little item we touch that there's magic behind it when you have the technique of sleeving, because you're able to show your hands empty before, during, and after. And because of the two sleeves, you're not just making something appear, you're not just vanishing something, but you could cause any transformation, because if something vanishes in one sleeve, it comes out of the other object, and you got yourself an instant transformation on any two objects you see. You name it. That makes sense to us, Wes?
High art, man. High art.
Of sleeving.
High art is what you accomplished when you won FISM for most originality.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's to say. Thank you, Wes. Yeah,
you proved it. You
have high art. And now I'm just.
Yeah, man. So
yeah, and now I'm a senior citizen, Wes. Yeah, go ahead.
So we have so much to cover, dude. I got 2 pages of notes on you. I'm telling you, you're the best. But as long as I've known you,
I'll let you go. Go ahead. You go.
As long as I've known you, I didn't know you had credits on IMDb. I found Natalie didn't know this. Agent Vance, FBI agent.
Have what? Oh.
Credits on IMDb. You were
what happened? What do I have? What's that? What is that? What is that?
Internet Movie Database. You were an FBI
what is
agent.
That?
You were in a movie.
In a movie, right? Yeah.
You remember doing that?
I was an FBI agent in a movie. How'd you know?
Because I did my research, Rocco. I got a legend coming on. I'm not just going to wing it.
Yeah.
So how was that?
I don't know what. Yeah, we just shut up. I got dressed up in a suit. I had a couple lines, and it was about 10 years ago, so I don't really remember much of it. But you brought it up. Yeah, matter of fact.
And you played yourself.
Yeah, I don't think anybody.
And you played yourself.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that. You guys. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
You played yourself.
I don't know how you found that.
You played yourself in a movie of Gold, Glory, and Game, where Rocco the Magician was in that movie.
Oh, cool.
What was that like? Do you remember that one?
Well, so you making this up?
Oh,
you sure it was me?
Yes, I'm sure it was
What's the name of the movie?
Gold.
Yeah, what was the name of this movie?
Gold, Glory, and Game. And you played yourself.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I was doing magic in the movie. I remember that.
What magic were you doing? Was it off character, or was it you doing magic?
No, it was me dressed as magician-y as possible. They wanted a top hat, a cane, very magician-looking, white gloves, and I just produced cards.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's on character.
Yeah, thank you. That's all character, right? I was the character, right? That's right, Wes. Yeah.
All right, so
that's fun.
So, tell us about Celebricadabra. Was that fun? Did you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought my guy should have won. He was really good. He picked up the technique real easy. We put a nice little act together. He's waking up every morning at 9 o'clock to go and spend an hour to put on makeup, and then wait. All of a sudden, it's 12 o'clock. So now you break, you have lunch, then you go back to put on makeup again, and then you wait around for 2 or 3 hours doing nothing, and then all of a sudden you do something. That's what it was like for 2 months.
That's
A lot
that's
of
TV.
waiting around.
That's TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, we rooted for you
I got
so
you.
hard. We were so proud of you and Hal. It was so awesome.
That was a fun show.
Right? Yeah, that was a fun show. I don't know why it didn't. They were gonna do another one, but it just didn't pick up like it was supposed to. You know,
Yeah.
it didn't pick up. But you watched it. I
We
got it
love it.
somewhere around here.
So
Right, hanging out in Hollywood, the Magic Castle. Right.
Yeah.
so with Crazy Horse in Paris, tell me about that gig. How many shows did you do a week?
Yeah, it was two to three shows a night, 6 days a week. When I was a kid, that was my goal. My goal was, oh, I want to work, get into the Crazy Horse. So I sent them stuff. When I was a kid, 19, just starting out. At 19, I thought I was ready for the Crazy Horse. I wasn't, but I kept sending them tapes. I kept getting letters back. No, we're not interested. No, we're not interested. And then I did a TV show in Paris called Le Plus Grand Cabaret du Monde. And the agent said, hey, I want you to come and audition at the Crazy Horse. Would you be interested in doing that? I wasn't even trying at this point, but I always wanted to get into the Crazy Horse because when I was young, because of all the girls, the girls. But I wasn't interested at this time because I had a girlfriend. I said, okay, got up in the morning the next day. We went to the Crazy Horse and it was raining and I put my props together and I performed. Boom. And the lady said to me, where have you been my whole life? He says, I went into your dressing room and I saw your props and it was just a bunch of rubbish. And I thought that this was going to be a waste of time. And he says, and then after seeing this, I have no idea where all this stuff came from. And so they booked me for first time was for 2 weeks. Then I came home. Then I went back for 3 months. And it was very lonely there, Wes. It's not what I thought. Once you get to the Crazy Horse, you walk in the door, you go, you walk, you're all by yourself. You have to go through a different entrance. You're not allowed to talk to the girls. You're not allowed to talk to the patrons. You're not allowed to be in the club. So you walk through the back door like all alone. You walk down the corridor, and there's your dressing room. There's 2 empty dressing rooms. You're on the floor all by yourself with a TV in your room. When it's time to do the show, you walk all by yourself down another aisle. You don't see not one person. You take a step, next thing you know, you're on this stage. Boom, you do your show. Next thing you know, you leave and you walk down the hallway all alone. You go into your dressing room all alone. Now you're there for about 2 hours, all alone. You can't talk to no one. You can't talk to the girls. You're just doing. I was just laying down, studying, and I did that for 3 months. I was doing the pretzel act there, and then like halfway during the show, they told me during the run, can you do something else? You can't do the pretzels because the pretzels are falling down into the stage and we're attracting mice. So I had to take the pretzels out that I produced pretzels so I wouldn't attract the mice. That was the Crazy Horse.
So
I don't know if they're still open.
Do you regret it? Do you regret that choice of doing it just because of the loneliness and?
No. Bucket list. It was on my. It was one of my goals since I was 19 years old. From day one, I always wanted to find out where the magicians work. Everyone said the Crazy Horse, magicians. Tom Foolery there, Rudy Kobe, the guy with the. Yeah, so many great acts. It was on the bucket list, and I'm glad I got to do it. It was just 3 months of living in France, eating good food. Yeah, and I was doing like 14 minutes.
So
14 minutes.
So when your bio says you performed for Michael Jackson, what was that like?
Yeah, well, I get a call from my house all of a sudden. There was some guy, it was his manager, said, Michael Jackson has summoned you. Yes, he went into the magic shop in Hollywood Magic and he bought the delights. And he's going to be in New York at the Four Seasons Hotel. He's having a party for his son, birthday party, Prince, and he would like you to perform. So I went to the Four Seasons in New York. He had a little private room, maybe 12 people, his bodyguard, and I did my act in front of him. We shook hands. It was like a pizza party. This is when he had, remember he broke his leg? He was on crutches. He broke his ankle.
Sure, yeah.
It was that time. he was on crutches. He had just hurt his leg. And I performed the butterflies, and the butterflies got stuck on the wall. They were on the wall. Michael Jackson, with one of the little kids, went up to the butterfly and said, "Rocco, you are a real artist. You're a real artist, just staring at the butterfly." And then 3, 4 months later, he came out with a song he wrote called Butterfly. He invited
Wow.
me to the house to come see him in Neverland. He invited me to the house, and I was always nervous about going. I would say, okay, I know I could go. I got an invitation. Anytime I want, I could call him. Next thing you know, never got a chance because he died. Otherwise, I would have visited him at his home.
Wow.
And then like 10 days after I did the show for Prince in Paris, she was in a baby chair. She was like 4 or 5 years old, and Prince. So it was his birthday party.
Wow.
And then 10 days later, he was doing a book signing thing in Newark, New Jersey with the mayor, Cory Booker. They were doing a project together for kids' books in schools, and he was going to do a little talk, and he invited me there to open for him. And I did a little magic for all the kids in this grammar school. And then he came out and just waved to people and talked about learning and this and that. Yeah. He had really, really big hands. He had really big hands. You wouldn't know that. When he shook my hand, it wasn't like shaking a hand like mine or yours, Wes. His hand like took grip, created my hand, squeezed it hard like a John Wayne grip. He had big hands.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I saw him, when I met him, the first thing I said here, the world got a little smaller because I've been watching him on TV for so long, running down a hill with Ronald Reagan with his jacket and seeing him scream. All of a sudden, I'm here sitting with him in a room, having pizza with him, having a conversation. The world all of a sudden became a little dot. It didn't become mysterious anymore. He's right there in front of me, the most famous person in the world at the time. So yeah, it was a day I never forget. He's a very nice man.
Well, I know you really looked up to him. When we studied with you in 2009, you had like People magazine and articles of Michael Jackson on your desk because he had just passed.
I did, huh?
Yeah, when we went. Yep, I remember that because it had just happened. Yep. So how about Muhammad Ali? When you performed for him, what was that like?
Yeah, he loves magic. He wanted to punch me. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good friends with his goddaughter, the girl that he's the godfather to.
Okay.
His name is Ken Thimmel. He's always doing shows in the area here. It's a matter of fact, Muhammad Ali was the best man to his wedding. His name is Ken Thimmel. He always does sports type of shows here, and he was very nice. He's very nice. He loved magic. I think I fooled him. Yeah.
Wow. But dude, I got so much stuff to ask you. We're got like 20 minutes left. So how about this? Your China tours with Franz Harari.
Yeah.
Over there, it's totally different. For those that don't know, Rocco should be treated like a celebrity, like a Michael Jackson anywhere he goes. That's how I think. But over there, it really is like that. I mean, you are swarmed. Like you are swarmed.
It is like that after every show. Sometimes you don't want to be seen by the people because everybody has a camera now, and they just run wanting to take a picture. You see Franz Harari at the end of the show, there's people screaming. They line up for a quarter mile to take a picture. And I keep saying, what are you going to do with this picture? So, yeah, they're very fascinating. With this time last year, me and Franz were in Hong Kong. I did 250 shows with him in Hong Kong. He's got a big production. And then we went to Shenzhen for 2 weeks. And our last show was in the rain. It was raining on the stage. And Franz says, no, we're not going to cancel it. We're going to do it. Really? He says it's going to be a great photo op. He did it. And now he's working on a whole bunch of other shows over in Asia. But his show, it's not just a small production. It takes over 110 people to run his show. Backstage staff. One of Kina Yella's there. There's stage hands. There's guys pulling this, pulling that. He's got 15 dancers on the stage. He's got all the other acts. It's a big production. Right now, he's working on consulting now, but he's working on a big show again somewhere in Asia. Yeah, they love magic there because, up until when China had the Olympics, magic wasn't allowed to be seen in Asia, in China. It was forbidden. Magic was not allowed. And after they had the Olympics in China, they wanted to get FISM in China. And the same guy who's in charge of the Acrobatic Society, the president, which was a government official type, he allowed FISM to come to China. And since then, that was the birth of the magic as an art form in China. Up until then, it was voodoo. It was bad. It was, oh, you're tricking me. What do you got? You got magic powers. Now it's an art form. So many great magicians in China. I was just there a couple months ago. So many great. You ever been there, Wes?
No, no. I went to Patterson, New Jersey once.
Yeah, that's the home. That's the home of Lou Costello and Hurricane Carter.
That's the home of Rocco Silano. So
yeah,
I want to know about this. This is something that, like your movies that you were in that you barely remember.
Yeah.
What about 1988? You invented a milk carton. What is that about?
The collapsible milk containers. And they offered me $1 million for it when I went to New York to meet with the Champion Paperboard. And I said, no, I want $60 million. And then they just took it off the thing. It's, you know, these half-gallon orange juice containers that you have in your refrigerator, half-gallon gable top orange juice containers. You open up the top, the spout, and you pour your orange juice. Now, when it's empty, you have to throw it away, and it takes up a lot of space in the garbage can for what it's in there. It's only air. It's empty. It's air. So I developed a little zip tab. I had it patented, and you pull the zip tab, and then the bottom hinges out, and then the top, you rip it, and it folds flat. Like when you buy a six-pack beer, you got the beer in there, but then it folds flat. So when you throw it away, it takes up a little bit of space in the room. And the company Champion Paper was interested, but they really didn't want to use it because it was going to take so much money to change over the machinery to do it. They just wanted to buy it so it wouldn't be out of commission. And then they were working on it, and they never cared anymore. So I still got the patent, though, but that's what it was. A collapsible liquid container. So when you're done with your orange juice and your milk containers, it takes up a little bit of space in a garbage can for recycling purposes. How did you find that, Wes? How did you find that?
Rocco, that's genius, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, dude. I haven't invented anything.
No, yeah. So I got a patent. I got two patents. Another patent. Me and my friend Nick, we invented this thing called the cork keeper. It's because I went to France one day, and they took the cork out of a wine bottle, and he took the paper that's around the neck of the bottle. He peeled it off nice and easy, and he wrapped the cork around the neck of the bottle, which looked very pretty aesthetically. Instead of taking the cork and throwing it on the table, because every cork tells a story. So me and my friend came up with a device that sticks on the neck of the bottle, and then when you're done with your cork, it attaches to the bottle neck of the wine, so you can save the cork if you need it later. And we have a patent for that. We got some guy in Hong Kong trying to look at it. They're trying to bring it to market, called the cork keeper. If you go online, I think we have a video on it too. That's the cork. That's another patent.
That's awesome.
So instead of throwing your cork away before you're finished with the wine, it attaches to the neck of the bottle. This way it looks pretty, and you're saving your cork for later. Because here in New Jersey, we have a lot of restaurants. Bring your own. So it's very popular. And we'll see if that picks up, if that flies. Yeah, that's what's going on there, Wes.
So let's get to China for a second. I got one more question. I think it was you when you saw the acrobats in China. It really affected all the little.
Oh my goodness. I still remember that. It made me cry.
Can you tell that story? I tell it in I teach magic classes to kids, and I show them about the acrobats over there and about the style of magic that they teach in schools there, how it's very strict. You have to do it this way. Low art, Rocco, they teach you have to be repetitive of the teacher, right?
Yeah,
but
I feel sorry for these kids because I think their parents give the kids to the school, and it's an honor. Now, these kids belong to this academy of school. They live there, they sleep there, and you got 18-year-old kids. You could tell he's in pain, but he's got to hold this girl that's on her head, and he's holding her up with all his strength, and he's going to get on one foot, and you can see him shaking. You can see the pain, this torture. It's actually torture, physical torture, to get these kids trained to do what they do. And then some of them, they even break their ribs when they're little, so this way they can move their bodies a certain way. And then when I seen them perform, it looks so graceful. Me, I was with Leonard Green, we watched them perform and practice. We both started to cry because when you see excellence, when you see perfection, when you see dedication to an art, the way we saw these young kids do in this academy of acrobatics in China, it brought something out of us. We were naturally just tearing because you see, but they put them through brutal work. It's painful to get ready for when you see what they do, these acrobats. We watched them train. One little kid, I remember, he had to hold this girl up with one arm, and he's yelling at, "Don't let go! Come on, push up!" And he's going, "Whoa!" He's like he wants to go to bed, but they got to do it, otherwise they don't eat. They get punished, I think, or something.
Wow. Wow. Yep,
Mhm.
I remember that. I remember that story. Yeah, I remember how it affected you. What's a
Yeah.
normal week for celebrity rock star Rocco Silano? What is a normal week for you?
I go to church every day at 11:30 in the morning. I go to mass.
Wow.
I get up maybe 4 o'clock. I pray a little bit. I think of magic, getting ready. Then I go back to sleep. I listen to music. Then right now my mother's 91 years old. That's why I like being here in Paterson, New Jersey. She's 91. I have a handicapped sister, and I get up. We eat together. Then I go to church. Then I go have a little lunch with them. Then I go to the park, meet some friends. I got shows. I have a show Saturday. It takes me maybe 20 minutes to prepare a show. It's just a bag full of stuff. And then I got a show. You know who Mike Turco is? Mike Turco?
I know the name. I don't know if I've ever met him.
Yeah, I'm going to do a show with him Monday. So I prepare shows. I go out to dinner, and I enjoy my mother's presence at 91 years old. But I go to church every day.
Aw.
God bless you, man. That's awesome.
You too, because we're going to have to put somebody first. If we don't put God first, someone else is going to take that position. Like Bob Dylan said, you're going to have to serve somebody. And the decisions you make today is going to determine where you spend your eternity. And if I knew how to cure cancer and I didn't share it with people to help them live, I'd be considered a bad person. And I have the answer of eternal life. When your soul leaves your physical body, your soul lives for eternity. Either it's going to be in the presence of God, which I want you to be, and everyone that I meet to be. Because if you reject that free offer, the option is not to be in the presence of God, and that's not where we want to be. We want to be what we were designed to be. Eternity was put on our heart. We're only passing through here. This is a temporary journey. It's just a wink of our eyes around this earth. The earth is so tiny, it's only 24,000 miles around in diameter. You go to here to California 10 times, that's how big the earth is. And right now, the universe is expanding at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's expanding, the universe. There's a lot more than what meets the eye. And being a magician, we get to analyze the seen and the unseen. So everything we can see with our physical eye now in our finite body, this is all we can see, but there's much more of this. When we take our last breath, our next breath is in the presence of God. And all you have to do is say, yes, I believe the gift. Easter's coming, and that's what that represents, rising up, because we're made of body, spirit, and soul. And I want all my friends that I care for, everyone that I do magic, every time I perform, I use holy blessed water when I do my show. And I pray for every seed. I say, Father in heaven, send down the Holy Spirit and every person in this room, protect them from the evil, let them enjoy the show and shine through me, because we're supposed to be vessels of light. We were created in the image of God, and God is a creator. That's why me and you, Wes, and all other magicians have this natural ability to create magic tricks. This was our calling. It's a destiny. Before the creation of the universe, before you were in your mother's womb, God already knew who you were going to be. He formed you before he knew you in your mother's womb. And probably everything that I'm saying right now, God's aware of everything I said because it's already happened. He already lives in our tomorrow. We can make plans, but God prepares our steps and orchestrates where we're going to go. He's already sees our tomorrow. He's already there. So I ask everybody who's listening now that God sends his angels to protect you. And hopefully we have the gift of eternal life, because when we leave this temporary earth, we don't want to say goodbye. We want more. We want to live eternity. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and life. Whoever believes in me shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So I would be very selfish but not say that. Thank you, Wes, for letting me say that. And I look forward to seeing you and all my friends in heaven one day, because we're heaven bound. This is just temporary, man.
Dude, we say a prayer very similar to that before our shows, that we hope that the audience sees God through us.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, that's part of our prayer that we say every show. And you,
That's how God's using you and a lot of other magicians. Steve Tchekti, I got so many magicians. We're to be light of the world. You don't take a candle and put it underneath your bed to light up the room. You put it out for everyone to see. So God's giving you this ability, this charm, this charisma. He wants you in front of people just to plant that seed. And and what I'm talking about is all going to come into play one day, Wes. So you keep blessing your audience every time you perform, because when that Lamb Book of Life gets opened up and he sees, what have you done for me while you were here? He's going to say, well done, Wes. Here you go. You get everything you've loved and lost on this earth. You'll be joined together with in eternity. Your pets, your family, and we have the best job in the world. We are magicians, magi's. We have magical powers. We're actors playing the part of magicians.
So another thing you quoted, you said, life here is just a blink of an eye. And
Right.
You tell me that at 19 years old, it doesn't make sense. But you tell me that at 48 and you really see it.
Mm-hmm.
You get it, Wes. You get it. You know, if you go to the cemetery, you see the year people were born and you see the year people died. In between, there's a little dash.
Yep.
That's your life, that little dash. And the comparison to eternity, if one life lived 30 years or 40 years or 70 years, it doesn't matter, because God knows before he formed you in your mother's womb, we have an expiration date. Man is appointed once to die, then judgment. God already knows before he created the universe how many years we have on this earth. And it's a vapor. This is just an experience. We're here to learn how to love each other. That's what the commandment Jesus gave to everyone. He says the greatest of all commandments is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And once we get refined like that, we get ready, like gold gets refined, so the best rises to the top. That's what happens to our faith and our soul. It's got to get refined before we get ready to enter into the next level, our next state of being. Wes, we're just passing through here. I'm going to know you. We're going to have lunch in eternity one day. And because we're out of time and out of space, our lunch can last 3 months. And we're going to talk about what we talked about today. We're going to have complete knowledge, an awakening of consciousness. We'll know exactly everything, Wes. All the mysteries of the world we're going to know.
I can't wait. You said that lunch. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. I look forward to seeing you two again.
So besides the Murphy's bio book that's coming out on Rocco, what else do you have plans? What else does Rocco have planned for?
Penguins are going to be putting out some new color lights. Penguin that are Rocco lights that are being made in Hong Kong. I did last month. I filled in for Murray Sawchuck at Masters of Illusions. They were doing a touring show, so they stopped in a place here called the Count Basie Theater, and I filled in for them. And Gay kind of hinted that she wanted me to do the episode season 13. So I have a little box here of tricks that I'm preparing to do for that. I'm going to Plasma Convention in Peru. You ever hear of Plasma?
No.
It's the FISM of South America.
Wow.
I'm going there to do a lecture and to perform and just praying that everyone stays healthy and that we find peace. And I pray for my mother, pray for your family, and that's what I do most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a video to watch tonight, all right, when we get off the phone.
Please.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Natalie, you're laying there. All right. I don't know what it is yet. I'll figure it out tonight while I'm sleeping. All right. It'll be in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. Hey, what? You guys never had kids?
Oh yes. Yeah.
You do?
We have a 14-year-old daughter, and then we have 5-year-old identical twin boys.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. You guys really love each other. Great. That's when you met back then, and you're still together. Congratulations. There's got to be something special you guys have. You know what love is all about then. I know you're good Christian people, and you guys love people. You love doing magic, so you've been blessed.
Yes.
Blessed. You guys are blessed.
Rocco, we travel around in an RV pulling a trailer, and we bring the kids with us.
They're part of the show.
Yeah. That's so much fun.
We produce
so
them in the
much fun.
show. We produce them at the beginning of the show. They do a dove trick together. My daughter does a mind reading act, and then the rest of it's just me and Natalie, and then they take a final bow at the end of the show. But we homeschool, and they're on the road with us. We do 400 shows a year, so we want to see our kids. So many performers, they leave their kids at home and they travel the world. We want to see our
Put
kids.
them in the show. Yeah, man. You're better off homeschooling them with what's going on in the world. I like it.
Yeah,
They'll
man.
probably wind up picking up the art. God bless them. Good idea. But now, how do you produce them? They're small. What happens when they get bigger?
Start producing them separately.
Yeah.
Or talk to Franz. We'll get him to build us something.
You got it. Something mega, something. Well, congratulations to you and continued success. Remember, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. And remember, we can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. You have not because you ask not. And have a thankful heart because Easter's coming, and that's what releases divine supernatural miracles. I believe in angels, and I believe in miracles. Just because we don't see them doesn't mean they're not here. And that's how it is when you do magic. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean I didn't sleeve it. All right.
You're the best, man. Rocco Silano, everybody. Rocco,
Thank you. Please, man.
thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. I don't know what else to say. I think you closed it out pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing else you have left to say is see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, Wes. Have a good Easter. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.
Check us out online at wesisley.com and patreon.com/Wes_Iseli for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.